a lot of things, like I said, I wrote down and I would like to ask for my concerns of the question, but when you put in the media, you say the gang killings and you very, with the police, LAPD and sheriff and whatnot, they very discreet about how they being judgmental toward the people on the street, but some of the fatalities have also been made by the police as well as some of the gang members that shoot, not knowing what they're shooting at. So when the police is killing the innocent people, and the police is being the gangsters on the street, and the police is being challenging to the gang members on the street, telling the gang members that we're the biggest and the baddest gang, and the police is becoming a threat on the street, then what are you guys building on the streets? You making guys want to defend not themselves against other gangs, but then they also want to defend themselves against the police. So I feel like we all have to work together in this. When I spoke on earlier about the grouping ourselves with you guys, working with, interacting together. Because if we don't interact together, then we waste time. There's no way we can bridge this gap and we can avoid all the problems that's going on if we're not talking about working together. That's the only way we can come up with a solution. From you guys to be from a professional perspective, and we dealing with it from a street perspective, what you look at the gang members as idiots. Thugs are idiots and how you look at them, but sometimes idiots can come up with better solutions and ideas on dealing with solutions and problems better than LAPD, because sometimes the brain problems are when you're provoking the gang members and you're threatening the gang members and you're taking the gang members from their neighborhood to the other people's neighborhood and y'all dropping them off over there in the other people's neighborhood and y'all drawing off and leaving them. Is that not exciting gang violence and gang problems in the community?
Yes, sir. I think it is, brother. And, I think the chief spoke well when he said that he can't justify every shooting that has already happened. Of course, we have bad apples on every side. So I appreciate you guys being here and taking the brunt of the conversation, even though we're trying to stay focused on 53rd. But he's talking about it's very important. It happens a lot in Southeast, we know, but appreciate that. Taco, you were next, and then I'm going to close out for second time.
Okay, real quick, the officer-involved shootings that take place, I'm sure there's some data that's collected that as far as the officers' age range. I don't know if it typically happens within a certain amount of years that the officer is on the force. If there's some way to forecast that, because I know that there's a lot of seasoned officers that have told me, I've never shot anybody out of my 30, 27, whatever years. Is there any way to match up a young officer with a seasoned officer, if that's a good way of forecasting that he probably won't shoot anyone or make any mistakes while he's on duty?
We take it very seriously if people have been involved in multiple shootings and who they're working with. We track them. We try to put them through extensive training. That's part of the review of the officer-involved shootings. That if people have been involved in multiple shootings over their career. I was fortunate. I've been involved in any in 33 years. I've been shot at a number of times, but had nothing to shoot at to return it. But I think it's a good question, and yes, we try to pair up more mature officers with less experienced officers. That isn't always the case that we're able to do that. We are a young department right now. We have grown over the last number of years, and so we can't always promise it, but that's something we try.
I want to jump on one thing. One thing we haven't talked about at all tonight is digital in-car video and all the black and whites in South Bureau. And this is all about trust and digital in-car video, having cameras in the cars and microphones on those cops. And every single black and white and every uniformed cop in South Bureau, they now have cameras in those cars and they have audio recorders on them. And that is about building trust. As we move forward, and we have more of these use of forces, and they may not all appear in front of the camera because the camera only faces one direction, but every single one of those cops is mic'd up. And more, not every encounter is going to be tape recorded. We don't have enough storage space for that kind of data for 24 hours a day for all the cops in the street. But a lot of these encounters are going to be tape recording, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to lead to more transparency and more community trust about what the officers are doing.
Appreciate that. All right, in closing, you guys, I have to close, so I have to. I see the hands have come up. There's a couple of them that you guys raised your hand. I didn't already crossed you out. I didn't come to you. And I'm doing this for the sake of time. There's a security officer here who has, well, he said he has a family. Vicky said he don't have one. Vicky said he just want to leave. But what I the second week straight to address the issues in the community. I want to thank not only Deputy Chief, but I also want to thank the Commander and Captain Kano as well for coming out because they we all see smooth love in the back. But the one thing I want to do though, before we go into announcements and leave in prayer, is I want to make sure that everybody understood and got the content of what was going on here, and most of it was collaboration. To get the understanding of the Office of Inspector General and what they do, what it is the Police Commission do. We spoke about revision of policies, what policies we can change, what policies we can't. It does not make sense to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and ask for a Big Mac. Simply, they can cook food, but that is not what they do. So please, let's remember to gear our questions towards something that we can collaborate on and make that change. So I appreciate everybody being here, and we always close out in prayer. We don't force anybody to pray with us, but if you don't, we're going to pray for you. So, we go to announcements, we go in prayer, brother. We told him if we could. If we sit
Everybody, we've been here at Southern California ceasefire. You heard the message. Law enforcement, the commission, the investigative group, the mayor's office. I wrote something here that can bring all this together. We're all striving here from peace. I'm Clarence Allen. This is the book, Regulate the Manual. It can incorporate and bring us all together. Go to regulathemanual.com. Thank you.
Go ahead, baby. You gotta give me some of that money.